We are going to start with a panel of today. We have a friend of mine from the SSIG that starts that has started this idea from the very beginning. Let me tell you that there's a phrase that we were coining at that time that said we have to rotate at country level. And this is what we did. Raul was the inventor of this idea. He had played major roles in internet governance in Latin America. He had been the CEO of LACNIC for many years. He held a very important position in Internet Society, and right now he is the director executive of ALAI, the Latin American Association of the Internet, gathering companies like Google, Amazon, Mercado Libre, and among other internet companies. And the headquarters are in Uruguay. And we have a virtual panel where we are going to invite two people from the Secretary of IGF, Angia and Chengetai, and Rodney Taylor from the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, and Lilian Chamorro from Colombia. They are the secretaries of the LAC IGF, and Kusai Al-Chaki from the Internet Association of Kuwait that has been working with our school for many years and has been partners with us in the IGF. Raul, it's great to have you here in Buenos Aires. Floor is all yours. Thank you very much for the invitation. Is Rodney there? Rodney and Lillian. Rodney and Lillian are there. Okay, hopefully the rest of the colleagues are going to be online soon. And we're going to start now. Do you want to do it in Spanish or in English? I think that they all speak English, but we have translation also. Okay, we're going to be combining Spanish and English.
To be here once again, and the idea of this panel is to talk with people that is really leading experiences and mechanisms of multi-stakeholder dialogues around the world. I could say that it's people that make things to happen. It's really the people that is doing things in this field. So we expect to have Chengetai Masako as Olga said, and Anya from the IGF Secretariat. They lead the Internet Governance Forum at the global level. And we have Rodney Taylor. Rodney is the leader of CTU, the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, and they lead as in his role, in his capacity of the head of CTU. He leads also the Internet Governance Forum of the Caribbean. So this started 19 years ago. 19 years ago, in 2005, in the summit in a summit in Tunis. In fact, that was the first time that I met you. It was in Tunis in 2005.
You were in the Uruguayan delegation.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. And so we decided at that point, among all the countries of the world, to create something that we call at that moment the forum. A forum that we envisaged the forum as a place where all the stakeholders could participate in equal footing, non-decision-making forum, so the people could go with the freedom of not to have to negotiate each word of a declaration, and really to bring all the issues that needed to discussion among all stakeholders. The basis for this understanding is that I think that it was never so clear before that the expertise and the wisdom was so highly distributed. And we needed everybody in order to take the best decisions and to find the best ways to take the full advantage of the technologies for the benefit of the people. So this is the basis of the reason why the multi-stakeholder model is something that we embrace, because we need everybody, we need all the perspectives. We cannot waste the opportunities to bring everybody involved. And so this had an impact in the world that once the IGF was created, this model was replicated in many places, in Latin America, in Africa, in the Caribbean, in Europe, everywhere. At the beginning at the regional level, and so at the national level. So we have now local, national, and regional IGFs all around the world. And to be honest, the CTU in the Caribbean had already started an experience before the IGF was established. We could say in some way that probably that the Caribbean IGF was the most ancient. It was the pioneer in this kind of forums because, as I say, it predates the existence of IGF. So taking advantage that we have Ronnie here and Lilian. Lilian, as Olga said, is working in Colnodo, and they are leading the LAC IGF, the IGF for the region of Latin America and the Caribbean. So we will talk to them. And so, Ronnie, let me ask you, that's first of all, if you want to introduce yourself or CTU, that would be wonderful. And so I would ask you, what do you think is the impact of this? Why it is important for a region like the Caribbean to have a forum like a multi-stakeholder forum, and what are the impacts that the regional IGF is having in the Caribbean? Please, Ron.
Good morning, Raul. Good morning to all the participants and all of the distinguished panelists. I hope you can hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Thank you for the opportunity to share a bit about CTU, which is the Caribbean Telecommunications Union. It is an institution of CARICOM, which is the Caribbean community. And we have 20 member states in the Caribbean, mostly English speaking, but we also have Cuba. We're very pleased to have Cuba as one of our member states. It is an intergovernmental organization focused on information and communication technology policy development, with the aim of ensuring that our member states leverage information and communications technology, or ICTs, to promote social and economic development. I'm actually here in Antigua and Barbuda. The CTU is based in Trinidad and Tobago. It's been there since 1989. But I'm in Antigua and Barbuda, where the United Nations 4th International Conference on Small Island Developing States just concluded yesterday. And I'm pleased that we were able to hold the second Internet Governance Forum for Small Island Developing States, or SIDS, the second SIDS conference. It is recognized by the UN as a national or regional initiative, or NRI, because SIDS itself is not a geographic region, but the United Nations acknowledges that there are peculiar challenges to small island developing states, in particular in relation to climate change and the risk associated with climate change and natural disasters. In relation to the internet, there's the high cost of connectivity because of the cost of subsea fibers. The economies are small, and therefore the economies of scale are also very difficult to achieve for companies looking to invest in internet infrastructure. As Barry pointed out, the CTU first Internet Governance Forum started in 2005. Is actually the oldest in the world. And this year we celebrate 20 years, and we'll be hosting that IGF in Guyana, which is one of our member states, where it started in Guyana. And it's called the CIGF, and it is important the whole idea of national and regional initiatives is very important. The internet itself is a network of networks. So it isn't one network that connects. It's a network of networks. So if you think of it as a Barbados internet, a Trinidad and Tobago internet, Puerto Rican internet, and they're all connected together to form one global resource. In the same way, if we talk about internet governance, we also need to bring our perspective to the issues of internet governance. So what are the issues important to us? Whether it's connectivity, cybersecurity, women's rights, and now AI, of course, is dominating the global discussion. And what the idea, therefore, the national and regional initiatives allows is for the local stakeholders from the ground up to discuss issues that are of national or local significance. So in my capacity as well as chair of the Internet Society, the Barbados chapter of the Internet Society in 2017, I led the hosting of Barbados's first Internet Governance Forum. Back then, very few people nationally even knew about Internet governance, and the fact that this global resource, most people use the Internet, in fact, and don't think about how it is managed, how it is governed, how the standards, how the technical standards are developed, and how policy decisions are made. So we're pleased to be able to discuss the Internet governance itself, who are the players involved, like ICANN, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, the ITU, the International Telecommunications Union, and the regional Internet registries like LACNIC and ARIN and so on. What are their respective roles? All of them, of course, performing very, very important functions that enable the Internet to operate. And these IGFs that we hosted were held, in fact, hosted with the support of these organizations that I mentioned. They were able to send experts to talk about what they do specifically around the domain name system, around IP addresses, and so on. And we were since then been able to support the establishment of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Internet Governance Forum, the Trinidad and Tobago IGF. We work very closely with them. And as I mentioned, the Small Island Developing States Internet Governance Forum. Essentially, the IGF we have that just concluded yesterday was concluded on Wednesday. The SIDS 4 conference was concluded yesterday. And we were pleased to have the support of the Dynamic Coalition of Small Island Developing States, or DC-SIDS. And DC-SIDS is actually a specialized group within the global IGF framework that focuses on the unique challenges and opportunities faced by SIDS in the realm of internet governance and digital transformation. So we were able to work very closely with DC-SIDS to have that, to deliver the second IGF. We've been very active in the global IGF itself. Last year in Kyoto, we hosted a forum that focused on the evolution of internet governance since it first started, to now a discussion on the Global Digital Compact and what the implications are for internet governance with the United Nations Summit of the Future, which includes the GDC, and what are the implications for that as being led by the United Nations? How does that impact, if in fact a new forum comes out of this GDC, a Digital Cooperation Forum, for example? How does that gel with the Internet Governance Forum? What are the implications for the multi-stakeholder model? And in particular for small states that have very limited resources to track all of these issues and be up to date. So I just wanted to share those brief perspectives with you, conscious of the time as well, and prepare. I do get to the airport, but I'm really pleased that you were able to give us the platform to share some of our experiences with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rodney. I was while I was listening to you, we have. Okay. Are you there, Rodney?
Yes, I am here.
Oh, okay, good. While I was listening to you, I was thinking how the IGF has not been good in itself, but also a place, an appropriate place for incubating initiatives like what you mentioned, the dynamic coalition on small island developing states and another initiative. So it has. I think this is one of the positive impacts of IGF. That is not only what we discuss within the IGF, but how people connect and new initiatives emerge from these synergies created among stakeholders. And we have now Chengetai with us. So thank you, Chengetai, for joining this panel. Chengetai, as we introduced him before, he is the head of the Secretariat of the Internet Governance Forum. So we could say that he's the real boss. He's the chief of everything. So and it sounds it's a joke, but it's really important the work that the Secretariat of IGF does. For us, is really a privilege to have the head of the team that make everything to happen in this global forum. So the Chengetai, taking advantage of your presence in this forum, I would ask you, I would like you to share with us what do you think are the most positive impacts of IGF so far, and also how do you see the future evolution of IGF, especially at the time that's not only that we have a lot of pressing issues that are emerging every day, new issues that come to the table that need to be addressed among all stakeholders, but also in parallel we have a discussion in UN about the future of the digital governance in general. So how do you see the future of IGF? What do you imagine for the future? So thank you for being with us, and go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Raul, for those very kind words. And yes, I only serve the stakeholders and the participants. And without them, there would be no IGF. Positive impacts, I'll just touch on very, very briefly because I think my colleague Anya is going to speak more in depth about them. But this is the 19th year of the IGF synthesis, and the positive impacts can be seen everywhere. I mean, we have had greater collaboration and also more interaction between stakeholders rather than them being in their silos. And that has led to, of course, better policies being produced and implemented. As for such a thing, such as internet governance, the governments cannot do it alone. And when you're discussing issues, you do have to have those people who are affected by those policies in that discussion. And there's loads of testimonials, for example, the setting up of IXPs in East and West Africa as well, which was a direct result of the IGF being there. So those are loads, and my colleague Anya is going to go further into those. But as for the future of the IGF, yes, these 2 years, that's 2024 and 2025, are very critical and crucial years for internet governance and digital governance as a whole. These 2 years are, in fact, going to set the stage for what happens in the next 10 years or even the next 20 years, just as maybe WSIS did in 2005. As has been said, of course, there are various processes that are ongoing. There's the GDC, the Global Digital Compact. And from what we've seen in the Global Digital Compact is that the feeling that the IGF has been a very useful process, and one that people do wish to continue, and one that can play a crucial role in the GDC follow-up, has been stated numerous times by stakeholders from all over the world and from different stakeholder groups. We have yet to see exactly what the outcome is, as we've heard that, as Rodney has said, we don't know what the outcome is. Are there going to be new mechanisms that then the IGF has to adjust to them, or will the follow-up process follow the WSIS plus 20 process that has been here and is established? And as the IGF, we have over 170 national and regional initiatives, and also a very strong youth program, very strong parliamentary program. We're just starting a judiciary program as well. So that's up to the member states. As such, the things that we've been hearing from where I'm sitting as well is that we do need to put a lot more into our capacity building initiatives. And also, just listening into the discussion, so these are not my personal views, as I like to state, is that we just follow what the member states or the stakeholders want, and we try and implement that to the best of our abilities. But what we've also heard the stakeholders and also the government saying is that governments also want some sort of a space, as we've had the parliamentary, we've had the judiciary. So we'll see if we can do that, if we can adapt that within the IGF framework, which of course may be possible. And that will also be very good. So that they can have this back and forth and still keep the multi-stakeholder model alive and well within the system. We've also know that we will have to cooperate with our partners as well, maybe a tighter cooperation, and this is what we'll be working on, and the leadership panel as well will be working on next year when the WSIS plus 20 negotiations do start, taking what comes out of the GBC and examining that while we discuss WSIS plus 20 and the road ahead and how we can adapt and evolve to meet those challenges. The IGF has been evolving since the very beginning. And what I've always said is that we do have a continuous improvement process at the very beginning. And we do also want to keep and maintain our bottom-up multi-stakeholder model. At the beginning of each cycle, we do survey the stakeholders and participants. And then at the end of each cycle as well, we do have looking back and stock taking and adjust our operations according to that for the next cycle. So there's this continuous improvement cycle, and we want to continue doing that. And I also do see that the future of the IGF is strong. We may have to evolve a bit, but I do see that the future is strong and that we still have the faith and the confidence of the stakeholders. I hope that answers the question a little bit. Yeah.
Very much. Thank you very much, Chengetai, for your words, but also for all the work you do with your team. This is amazing. As you said, the IGF today is very different of the IGF at the beginning, and it has evolved very much during those 18 years. Depending and according, trying to fit the evolution of the expectations of the different stakeholders and the needs of the community. So despite of the challenging environment, the IGF remain being is still a central piece of the digital policy ecosystem. So. I think that the IGF will succeed in continue adapting itself to the future demands and needs, and in some way, probably in a different form, but it will continue being a central piece of this ecosystem. So we are facing, because all of us are in some way the IGF. We are facing the difficult challenges, but I think that the IGF is a very good instrument and will continue fulfilling its role. And so good luck with the
Thank you very
challenges
much,
in the
Ralph.
near
Yes.
future. Yes, and I think one of the messages for the audience here is that really it's worthwhile to become involved and engage in IGF is very important for IGF. It will be good for you, but it's very important for IGF also to bring new energies to the discussions. Thank you very much,
Yes.
Chengetai.
Thank you. Yes, and just like to say, yes, we are only as strong as the participants. We're only as strong as you. So, yes.
Perdí algo. Thank you very much. We have also maybe we will come back to the discussions, and we have Anya now. Oh, thank you, Anya. Anya is part of the team of the IGF Secretariat too. I'm sorry, Lilian, because you were one of the first in joining, but I will let you to the end because I think I want to finish with the regional perspective of this. So, Anya, that you are very involved in all the global relations and you are one of the most visible faces in the IGF Secretariat, working with people from developing countries and promoting several initiatives. So, what do you think, as Anya, based on your experience, what do you think is the main benefit for people from developing countries to participate in IGF? What's the feedback that you receive usually from this community? So, please share with us your experience.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Raul, and greetings to everyone. I'm here participating with the Secretariat on the World Summit on the Information Society Plus 20 meeting and also AI Summit for Good. And it's very interesting to meet a number of colleagues coming from what I call the IGF ecosystem, mainly associated with the national, regional, sub-regional, and youth IGFs who are active participants here as well, and sharing their testimonials, which goes in favor of my response to your very good question. I think the main benefit is indeed, first of all, the IGF being hub for exchange of knowledge, experiences, good but not so good practices as well, where we can learn from each other mistakes also, so not to repeat them. And also a great opportunity and a platform to network and to meet stakeholders coming from various parts of the world who are experiencing similar or different issues as us. So a lot of differences, a lot of stakeholders participating, but all united in one thing, and that is the internet we all want for ourselves, seeing it as a great opportunity and enabler of sustainable development, of just better, stronger economies, better well-being for everyone. And of course, being aware of the threats and harms that exist to it, and being aware that through the mechanism of governance that we have all embraced through the World Summit on the Information Society processes, through also the mandate of the IGF, we can actually combat those harms and ensure that the internet and all related technologies, services, and tools do serve people everywhere equally as enabler for good. So I think that's the biggest benefit. What I hear on daily basis, technically from my colleagues who are running IGF processes at national and regional IGFs, is that not just participating physically at one annual meeting, but really being meaningfully part of the IGF processes really is a game changer in terms of the ecosystem at local levels, particularly, and with that, collectively speaking, then at global levels. We have seen examples where, for instance, establishing an IGF process in a country leads to establishing new initiatives which are changing lives. For example, if you have these types of schools on internet governance in countries which are not allowing a lot, for instance, opportunities to deal with digital, then it really creates a huge change. Or if you create a process through which you have governments speaking to private sector, speaking with civil society, with technical communities, and others, where you create those strong synergies and exchanges of knowledge, experiences, it really leads to a concrete change of policy, of laws, and in that sense, change of conditions in which people live and operate. There's been, I don't know if Chengetay mentioned, there's been a very interesting and very important study that the DNS Research Federation has done just recently. They've been promoting the outcomes and findings of that research here at WSIS as well. It was focused on the IGF, but concretely on its impacts. What are the changes that we're seeing? And it's interesting when somebody who's outside through an objective methodology really looks through 20 years of everything that's been done, looking at the changes. And one of the concrete change, for example, was not just introducing, which was revolutionary, multi-stakeholder model at the traditional multilateral intergovernmental organization in early 2000s, such as the UN, but also inspiring people to drive application and embracing that model in their local communities through establishing national and regional IGFs. And the fact that today we speak about more than 170 of them, I think is a proof and an indicator that really speaks in favor about the value of this model for people. In addition to that, this research is so interesting, speaking about, for instance, how the IGF as a model, as a platform for discussion has led to meaningful decision making. For instance, in giving its contribution to closing the concerning digital divide. So a lot of examples on how it helped discussions on establishing IXPs, but also community networks in various countries are part of that report. If you look also in the area of indirect impacts, you will see that the platform has served to initiatives from around the world on some very important processes for discussion, such as, for example, the IANA transition. Through the IGF for years, there's been a discussion at a multi-stakeholder level on how to do this very sensitive activity, which was successfully done at the end, and which really affects users everywhere, individually, but also collectively speaking. There are testimonials, for instance, from the African Union and colleagues there who were discussing how to establish and develop their African Digital Transformation Strategy 2030, also through the IGF. So various examples which really speak about the value. And I think the biggest indicator of the relevance and of the value at individual level is the participation. I'm sure Chengetay heard that he spoke about it. If you see how the participation is exponentially growing over the past couple of years significantly, from doubling, tripling from the average previous number, then that's also a proof for itself about the importance to it. But of course, Raul, if you allow me, I would like just to finish with this. Not everything is optimistic and not everything is positive. We are living in, our reality is that unfortunately we are facing a lot of inequalities, including with respect to the domain of digital inclusion. And in that sense, even though the awareness in various countries and regions has grown significantly, the economic power, the economic conditions are not in place for meaningful inclusion of these stakeholders. And I reference specifically stakeholders coming from developing part of the world, particularly least developed countries, small island developing states, landlocked developing countries. There isn't just enough investment in those countries to ensure that at the international levels we have meaningful participation from these stakeholders, which are critical if we want to speak about sustainable development for everyone, everywhere, meaningfully. And I hope that I can finish maybe with some sort of a plea that we all really should focus on ensuring digital inclusion of stakeholders coming from these countries, because it reflects all of us, and it can just bring better conditions to everyone, everywhere. Thank you.
Very much, Anya, and thank you for bringing this this perspective of connecting these multi-stakeholder discussions and processes with things of real life problems. And so And you said in some moment that there are initiatives that change the life of people, and this is very important because at the end of the day, the ultimate objective of everything we do is to create a positive impact in the life of the people from around the world. It's a very well taken the point of about inequalities, and I think that this all this constellation of initiatives and forums and multi-stakeholder forums help very much to bring more people involved and from all around the world. While it is impossible to solve from here all the inequalities, at least we can favor the possibilities and opportunities of stakeholders for developing countries to be more engaged in a more meaningful manner. Thank you very much, Anya. Thank you, Kusai, for joining. Good morning, Kusai. Let me go to Lilian. Lilian, gracias por conectarte, por estar con nosotros.
Lilian, thank you for being here.
Let's ask Lilian to speak. I will interact with her in Spanish. Sorry for that, but the question is about the what the like IGF is doing and how it is impacting in the regional community. And so Lilian, feel free to speak in Spanish or English as you prefer. Pero bueno, Lilian, nos gustaría que nos contaras un poco el impacto que la IGF tiene en la...
Probably you can tell us what the impact of the IGF is in the region and the perspectives of IGF for Latin America. Good morning. I'm going to be addressing my speech in Spanish. Thank you, Olga and Raul. I'm going to be brief, and I'm going to tell you about IGF. Let me see if I can screen it.
¿Puedes
Sí, ahora la ven.
Hay una presentación, ¿la tenemos acá?
Sí, sí.
Ah, perfecto.
Ah, la voy a compartir eso.
Adelante, Lilian.
Perfecto, bueno.
So, on the forum of internet governance in Latin America and the Caribbean, this seeks to be a point of meeting of all the stakeholders. It is important because in this space, many sectors are interacting, and it is something that we've been attempting for some time, that all stakeholders could have a dialogue at an equal level. And every year, these topics are considered as major for Latin America and the Caribbean. And these discussions, which are equal, can reach agreements and can also find recommendations. In these conditions, the IGF has a structure with many stakeholders who are making decisions and orienting the structure to the objectives. 3 people in each sector defines the way to define their representatives. In the case of government, the election was made on the occasion of elections of ILAC, and each government defines the conditions for those elections. These committee is in charge of selecting the conditions of elections and was formed from the regulations created in 2021 and is formed by 12 people with an open election process with different people from the region run in order to be representatives of each of these sectors. And in 2024, the first committee to select workshops formed by more than 70 people and diverse groups of different genders and different visions. Also, intersectional groups created from the new regulations and work all year round on the major topics for Latin America and the Caribbean. Also working with groups of other sectors like private, public sectors, civil society, and also working in a very diverse geographies. As I was saying, this is the first year we are working on the creation of GTIs, and all suggestions are welcome. Finally, we have the Secretariat. This has been presided by the ACNIC, which was the organizations who promoted this creation, but from the new regulations, it was decided that this secretariat must be changed every 3 years in an open process, calling all the organizations, and the organization I'm representing was selected at the secretariat of the from July 2023. We are going to maintain discussions to support the selection of workshops, executive and operative functions. And we also have an annual meeting converges. All these topics converge in this meeting where we have the opportunity to dialogue with all sectors. All the sectors are representative. Private, public sectors are represented here. The academy, communication institutes. Also, the selection committee is also part of this group, defined in order to select the representatives of the different committees. In 2008 in Uruguay was the first time we had this event, and then we have had different forums all around Latin America during the pandemic. July 2021, after a process of discussions where many people present here, as Raul, have participated, and all of them were responsible for all that new regulation and they got new instances of discussions and also work on the implementation of this new regulation. The event in presence after the pandemics in 2022, in December 2023, it was held in Colombia, the University of Bogota. We had many panels, an opening session, and a major session with the regional and national initiatives of Latin America in coordination with regional initiatives in order to make them all converge and each one commented about their present work and they can interact in this occasion. Carol Trudge is the president of the MAC at the moment. On the participation in presence in 2023, 51% of them were women. Colombia had the major participants: Argentina, Uruguay, Ecuador, Mexico, a total of 18 countries of Latin America and the Caribbean, and 43% of civil society, government, academy, communications. What we are doing now has been defined, and we resume a proposal submitted by Chile. So Chile will be the venue for this event in November of this year. The call was an open process with participants from all countries of Latin America, and the definition of the selection of a committee. And we are also calling for the and we are expecting the event to be held in November 2024.
La verdad que muy buena la presentación, muy informativa, y gracias por dejar también los datos de contacto para que la gente que tenga más interés sobre esta iniciativa. Kusai, thank you for joining again. It's a pleasure to have you here, and especially for the time difference. I don't know if you are Kuwait at this moment.
I'm so happy and honored to join the South School on Internet Governance and join this wonderful panel and see you again, you Raul and all the organizers. Well, it's afternoon here and the temperature is 50 degrees in Kuwait, so it's a good day. So it's wonderful to have you today and to join you.
Thank you. We are a little.
I'm not hearing you, Raul. I lost the voice.
Now you are listening.
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm listening to you right now. Yes.
I was saying that as always we are running a little behind the schedule. We are very good in doing that.
Sure.
But we are very interested, Kusai, in knowing the experience of a multi-stakeholder discussion processes model, the impact of IGF and the IGF style processes in a region like the Arab region. So please, if you could share with us, we would appreciate that very much.
Sure. Well, in our part of the world, in the Arab world, we have benefited a lot from the IGF, not only in the level of the issues and topics that has been discussed, but also as the IGF as a best practice, as a multi-stakeholder process, as a platform for policy dialogue, and move this experience to our part of the world to discuss the important issues and knowing what's our priorities when it comes to internet and internet governance. The opportunity that we had from the global IGF is that first we were building our knowledge on the main issues and the main topics and the evolving issues and the new trends of the internet, which we were not knowledgeable about, and we didn't have the right perspective on it, and we didn't have the proper understanding about it. So participating in the global IGF, meeting the experts, meeting the people with the know-how, with the knowledge, with the awareness from various stakeholders, built our knowledge, our experience, and put us in sync with the world and the global community. Whether to participate in an effective way, to understand the issue, and move this experience to our part of the world. Let me give you an example on this. During the WSIS days and the early days of the IGF, our part of the world were focusing on the issues of critical internet resources, or what is called the CIRs. But as we matured and as we understood the issues in a better way and understand more, we have realized that access for us in our part of the world is more important for us than what is called the critical internet resources, because at that time access in the Arab world was below 50%, and in some countries were below 10%. So what is more important and what is of a priority? The access to the internet, or the critical internet resources who nobody has access to the internet in the first place? So, and with time, we have understood that the resilience of the internet, the stability of its operation, and the stability of the internet itself is more important and should be more of a focus than the critical internet resources. So, this knowledge and this evolution of understanding and putting this into perspective were not possible if we were not participating in the global IGF, meeting with people from all around the world, from various stakeholders, people with knowledge, people who is aware of the matters and issues, and who can interact. Through interacting with them, we build our knowledge and capacities in this issue. And not only that, we brought them to the Arab IGF process and other processes like similar to the South Internet Governance School. We have what is called the Middle East and adjoining countries Internet Governance School. So these issues, or participating in the global IGF, understanding the issues of concern, helped us not only to understand the issues and know them better and be in perspective, but also knowing what's the priorities of the world, how the world is thinking, and how we sync ourselves with other parts of the world. If we have priorities, we better be on the same pace with the others to bring the attention of the world or the global attention to our priorities. This opportunity would not be possible if we didn't have the global IGF and linked ourselves to it. One other important influence that the global IGF brought to our part of the world is the multi-stakeholder process by itself. Today, in most of the Arab countries, when we're talking about setting up policies, governance mechanism, or even regulation, all competent authorities or respective authorities would consult with other stakeholders to explore their opinion, knowing their standing, what they are thinking, before moving into any action. This process, the influence of multi-stakeholder, was a product of the IGF in our part of the world. So this is how we benefited that much from the global IGF moving it to the Arab IGF or the Arab world. Thank you, Rob.
Very much, Gusai. I think that you made a very good points. One is how the global multi-stakeholder processes also help to legitimate the process at the regional level, and but also how the priorities in different regions could be different, and that we have to adapt to bring the model, but to address the problems that are really the priorities for each of the regions. Very quick follow-up question with you, Kusai. How important is for you the fact that the IGF will be held in your region this year, that it will be held in Saudi Arabia in December?
This is a wonderful opportunity. Actually, we look forward and we look for the success, and we wish Saudi Arabia all the success in in organizing and hosting the global IGF. And we wish to see you all there. This is a wonderful opportunity, not for us, but also for all the stakeholders in our part of the world to meet and interact and talk and discuss internet issues with the global IGF community from all stakeholders of the world. This will let us build better understanding, sync ourselves better with other part of the world, understand the global dynamics of the internet and internet governance mechanisms globally, regionally, and on national level. So it will be a wonderful opportunity to see the world, the global community, the global IGF community coming to Saudi Arabia this year and allowing the wider audience in the Arab world to interact with the people of knowledge, with the expertise, with other stakeholders, youth, parliamentarians in Saudi Arabia to feel and understand and recognize the importance of internet governance globally and what it means to the region and on national level, provided the fact that we have soon the Summit of the Future and the WSIS 20 plus let's say in 2025. Thank you, Ra.
We expected to have interaction with the audience, but due to the fact that we started later than expected, we will not have time now for questions. But Chengetai, do you want to give a last message, a few seconds, to close this session?
The only thing I would like to say is please do continue to engage and to participate and to make your voice heard, especially if you are not traditionally engaged. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Good message. And thank you, all of you, for the work you do. I really think I'm convinced of the benefits of the multi-stakeholder model and all the positive impact that IGF has created in the world. So I think that the world is much better. We will not solve all the problems, but the world undoubtedly is much better with all those multi-stakeholder processes ongoing than if they would not exist. Thank you very much. So thank you very much for joining, for bringing your inspiring words and sharing your expertise and the work you do with all of us. Thank you very much, and thank you to all of us.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you on the internet.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Raul. Thanks a lot. We will run out of time, but we have a very interesting presentation coming from Meta that is being connected through Canada, but requested at 11:15. So I will ask you to be brief and resume the session at 11:15. Okay.